We're going to quilt the pieces together now. So we're going to take our leftover rectangle scrap of rough out brown, and we're going to place it wrong side down on our work surface. Then we're going to take our Warm and Natural, our batting, and we're going to place that on top. So it's on the wrong side of the fabric. Now we're going to take our embroidery block. Now this is just a sample. Obviously it is not really embroidered, and you will want yours rinsed, pressed, and all put together and ironed. Okay. Are you get what you need? Done? Yeah. Okay. I know I messed up on what I wanted to say. Okay, put your foot down. Why don't you go over there so you're not as close to my mic? Okay. We're going to take our embroidery block next. Now this one is my sample, so obviously it is not embroidered yet. So yours, when you do this, should be embroidered, rinsed, and ironed, and trimmed down to the size in the pattern, okay? So then you're going to put your embroidery face up, and then we're going to take our pinwheel block, which is completed, and we're going to put that right side together on the embroidery block. So you have several layers here, okay? If you want, you can even add some basting spray in here, but where this is a small project, I didn't. You probably will want to add some pins to keep this in place. And then you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to do a 1/4 inch seam right down there. Now we're done sewing. So if you open this up, now you have secured all your layers together. I would give it a little bit of a press right here, press it open. And then now what we're going to do is we are going to quilt this together, all your layers, and we're gonna do that by stitching. It's called stitching in the ditch. And it's a term where you're going to add a seam and you're gonna try to make it be invisible by stitching as closely as you can in each of your seams on your pinwheel block. So we're gonna take it to our sewing machine and just do a straight stitch through each of our lines here, binding all your layers together. Now, I definitely would recommend adding a pin so that you can keep all your layers together as you're sewing to reduce bunching. And we're gonna take it over to our sewing machine and get started. Have my quilting done on this side by following each of the lines. You can see here I ran out of thread. I was using a lighter color, or excuse me, a color that matched the tones better. And so you can see my white. I wanted you to see that I wasn't quite perfect, but I tried the best that I could. So anyways, try and use, when you're doing quilting, the top color should try to match the colors that you're using in your quilting, okay? All right, now we have to still quilt this side. So you can take, and I just did a 1/4 inch white strip stitch all the way around on my sample one, or I wanna teach you another method that is also really fun. And that's where you can do a free form quilting. So you want to get a foot similar to this where you can have the free form quilting. And then we're going to switch that out and I'll show you the next step. I've switched out my foot and now I'm ready to do the free motion quilting. So what you're going to want to do for this is you need to put your feed dogs down. So make sure you release your feed dogs when you're doing this next step. And I would definitely recommend practicing first before working on your actual project. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start closest to my block to prevent puckering, and then I can move away from my block. And all you have to do is you're just going to start, and you're going to be very slow and methodical of what design you want to do. So I just think a nice easy swirl is easiest. You can do it however you want, and you can just go around your block doing some free motion quilting with your own design. And you're going to want to go close to your embroidery, but not too close. I'm just doing like a nice zigzag, or not a zigzag, but kind of more of like a loop-de-loo. And with your feed dogs down, it allows you to just be able to sew and create and draw with your sewing machine. So you can kind of see how that's turning out. And so now I'm working my way out. And I'll just keep kind of going down and around. And you just want to go slow. And that's the fun of this, is that it's not going to be perfect. It's free form. But you're just quilting all those together. And you can go inside, you can get in closer to your embroidery if you want. Or you can just stay in the outer area. Here we have our block all quilted up. You can see here I had white bobbin thread. I would have used brown, but you can see how I just went around that embroidery. And I told you on the sample piece, I didn't quilt, so you can see the difference. This is where I just did straight stitches 1/4 inch around to quilt it together initially. So totally up to you, whichever style you want to try. Both are really, really fun options. The last step is to trim up your embroidery block. So the reason why we kept our backing and our batting larger is so that you had some wiggle room as you were finishing this up. So you can just go through and trim it up to match up the top of your panel. And we are finished with this step. So the next step is we're gonna do our yo-yos and all of our handwork on the top.